Hi friend, do you like jesters? Do you like silliness? Do you like medieval things? If you've said yes to any of those questions, then you, friend, are in the right place. Hey san svei san, I'm Daisy Victoria. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we are going to create a medieval jester costume. Now let me tell you, when I first introduced my boyfriend to the SCA, the Society for Creative Anachronism, which is a medieval and Renaissance reenactment group, he always kind of had it in his head that he could be a court jester. And I love this idea. In fact, I've already done a couple of videos showing how I made a medieval cat ear hood, and these eared hoods are something that we find on jesters throughout the medieval period. There's a lot of history out there about jesters throughout the medieval and Renaissance period. My inspiration for this jester costume is the 15th century or the 1400s. In this time, we have a lot of resources on jesters. We have a lot of images, a lot of representations of court jesters. So it's quite simple to pull from that inspiration and create a jester costume. Some of the common things that we see in jester costumes is we see hoods. They often have ears on them. Sometimes they also have something kind of curled forward. Sometimes it has a bell on it. I do particularly like that, and I'm going to use that in this particular project. In this one, I'm not doing the same cat ears that I did in the cat ear hood tutorial, which you can also buy a PDF of if you would like. These ears are a little bit different, and I'll show you how I did those. They're actually a little bit simpler than the cat ear hood, but they're quite similar in shaping and patterning. So you could maybe adjust the cat ear hood if you wanted to use that as a starting point. Another thing we see in the jester hoods, and even in the jester costumes in general, is we see a lot of these dags or points. So some of the hoods will be pointed in the front and the back, the sides. The entire outfit will also often have these points around the hem, and sometimes we'll see bells attached to the points. The sleeves of these outfits can vary a bit too. I'm going with this 15th century inspiration, and I know this is going to be a fairly simple one to pattern and get knocked out quickly for my boyfriend before we go to a big week-long event called Gulf Wars. This style of garment is also based on one that I do have a PDF tutorial about, and that is the houppelande. This would be a short male version of the houppelande, and you can check out that tutorial. We all know jesters as fun entertainers, and why not have a fun costume for the entertainers? Well, jesters are seen in many different, medieval jesters are seen in a variety of outfits, a lot of times with ears, bells, lots of different colors, vibrant colors, things that will really draw attention and entertain. And I think that is super fun and silly. And I am lucky enough that I have a boyfriend who likes to be silly with me, so we're bringing him in on this. I'm starting this project by using an existing hood pattern that I have for Rob, and I'm just going to change the shape of the pattern a little bit. So I'm starting by actually tracing out the entire hood, and then I'm drawing with chalk on the fabric where I want that shape to change. So a couple of notable changes I'm making is one, I'm adding a little curly Q up on the top, and the other change is that I am now transforming this bottom area to be 4 points. So there's going to be 1 point in the center, and then since this is half a hood, I am putting half of the front and back points onto this piece. Testing this out on the mannequin to see if I like kind of the shape and size of everything. I'm pretty confident in it because it came off of a pattern I've used before, but once again, just doing at least a little bit of check to make sure we're on the right page. The whole outfit is half gold and half purple. And you're gonna see me next cut out the houppelande, or basically the coat part of the outfit, from the same pattern I used to make Rob's red houppelande in an earlier video, which even though the video was months ago, I made them at about the same time, just edited the videos at different times. And that is made using the same Houppelande instructions that are in my PDF tutorial as well. So lots of resources out there to get you going on this sort of thing. For the ears of this hood, I am starting with the pattern that goes to my cat ear hood, and I'm simply making these ears bigger. I know that with this particular look, I want to get closer to the Jester ears that are longer and taller. So as you can see, I am changing the shape of that ear to just be much longer and taller. And this ear is going to pinch all the way together, and that's that. Just like with the hood, I'm changing the bottom of the Houppelande to include those 4 points. As you can see, I'm dividing everything up into equal portions, and that is how I'm figuring out where to draw the lines, which are going to become the cuts for those points. These are all the hood pieces being cut. Now, as you'll notice, I did have to piece that piece on the back of the hood. So that's what that extra triangle is there. And if you guys want a PDF pattern of this hood, let me know. And if you're watching this video later and I've already digitized it, then I'll go ahead and link to it. As for the sleeves, they are an S-curve, or that wibbly wobbly top, and they're going to come down low at the bottom or the underarm. Sewing it together, I'm leaving part open in the center front, and then sewing all of those pieces together in the same order as in the Houppelande instructions, really. I am lining the sleeves, so in order to do that, I've sewn them right sides together at the bottom. This is what we would call a bag lining. This is a super easy and quick way to line something and not have any visible machine stitches. There is a lot of sewing happening here on the machine because I am also bag lining the tunic or Houppelande, and that is so that I don't have to sew all of that by hand, and I also don't have any visible machine stitches. This garment is made of linen, and this makes it 2 layers, so it is fully lined in the same linen that's on the exterior. So we could call that self-lined. This linen is from fabricstore.com, not sponsored, but if they would like to sponsor me, oh my goodness, I would make so much use of that because I buy a lot from them. Okay, so now it's time for a tricky trick on the neck opening. I am going to kind of feed these through an arm's eye, which is still open, in such a manner that I can attach right sides together. So this is the portion at the front where it's open at the top of the neck. I am matching those up right sides together so that I can sew them and then flip them right side out. I am also going around the neckline when I do this. So that means that the entire neckline is going to be finished off in that sort of bag lining. Now, because of the way I am sort of finagling this through the armscye openings, I did have to sew this in 2 sections. And that's fine because I need 2 colors of thread anyway, so no big deal. So I sewed the gold section with gold thread, and then I sewed the purple section with purple thread and turned those right side out. The hood is also party colored, or 1/2 gold, 1/2 purple. I'm creating the exterior fabric and the lining fabric. Notice the lining does not have that big point on top of the head. It is not necessary to line that. I'm trimming close to all the curves and making it easier to turn right side out. And then what I'm going to do here is stuff that curlicue with some polyfill. If you want to go for period appropriate materials, you can use some fabric scraps. I tend not to keep a lot of those around. Now we're coming back here to discuss one last piece of this costume. So you've seen the hood, you've seen the houppelande or the main body tunic. There's also a little staff called a bauble. We in fact have some extant baubles from later in period, and these tend to be some sort of sculpted weird head figure with a sort of hood or hat and these little fabric-y pieces on them. And this is something that the jesters would use in performances. So we've got to have a bauble for a complete jester costume. Now we decided that it would be really funny to get a baby doll head from a thrift store and use that as the basis for the bauble, because the heads already look wacky enough. Let's make it even creepier, right? That's a great idea. Okay, so I found a very cheap, very affordable baby doll that had an easy to pop off head at the thrift store for $1. deal. Now, when I brought it home to my boyfriend and I made it a little hood to wear that matched my boyfriend's hood, I told him it's your job to affix this head to your bobble pole, which he already had a pole he was going to use. So, funny enough, he took this project and really ran with it. And he ended up not only using the head, but actually zip tying the entire baby doll to the pole, which in my opinion is a heck of a lot sillier than just the head. What do you think of jesters and their costumes? If you find some inspiration here, I would love to see what you create. You can find me on all the social medias as Daisy Viktoria. My website is daisyviktoria.com. And a special thank you to my patrons over on Patreon who continue to help me create amazing content like this. I hope you all have an absolutely magical and silly day, and I will see you again real soon. Bye-bye. Yeah.